Welcome to Sun and Star Farm. This is week 20 flower garden. I didn't do a week 19 because all it did was rain last week. You'll hear in the background thunder because it's pretty much what it's done today and yesterday. It's Monday, so I wanted to get a video in because it looks like it's supposed to rain for the rest of the week, and I don't know when I'll have an opportunity to get a video. This big behemoth that I thought was a watermelon ended up not being a watermelon. It's actually it's called a buffalo bar. The berries on it are poisonous. It is a type of a nightshade. It is going to get pulled out, but it's got huge thorns on it. So I'm going to have to bring my clippers out. And every time I come out here, I don't have my clippers. So what's going on in the garden? Well, we have a lot of things coming up that were out here last year. So, and a lot of weeds that have come up too that need to be weeded. But all of this up here, besides the chickweed and some of the other weeds, are actual plants. That's Black-Eyed Susan that's coming up here. I did not plant that. This is coming up from last year. That right here is a celosia. So both of them are yellow flowers. One is the Black-Eyed Susan, a big yellow daisy with a black center. And the celosia is a wildflower here in Texas, but I did plant seeds in here last year. And this whole entire garden last year was just nothing but Black-Eyed Susan and celosia before the drought hit. It's a real pretty frilly yellow flower, or not celosia, coreopsis. Sorry, coreopsis. This is a yellow flower with a burgundy center with a little yellow, black, burgundy type of center to it. They're really pretty. But I have it here coming up. I've got some over here. There's weeds coming up too with it. That's more coreopsis. Black-Eyed Susan. This frilly leafed stuff is coreopsis. So not messing with any of that. More Black-Eyed Susan coming up over here. It's reseeded from last year. I'm surprised it even come up because of the fact that I had the chickens and the ducks in here all summer during the drought. And you can see it has gotten wild in here with all of the rain. Things are shooting up fast. Weeds are popping up out of nowhere. But I do have a lot of like little coreopsises that are coming up along with the weeds. So I'm kind of leaving it right at the moment, just because I don't have time to come out here and pluck and plant research some of the stuff that I'm not sure of. I've got some gomphrena planted here. My grapes are looking amazing. This is the first time this grape plant has done so well. And I don't know if it's because of the amount of rain, because of its age. It's 3 years old now. If because the bougainvillea died over the winter, but holy cow, is it doing amazing, and it's got flowers. So I don't know if we'll get berries this year because I believe you need another grape, and I don't have another grape. I did have one planted over here and it died the first year. My neighbor across the street has grapes, so I'm hoping that that helps with the pollination. If not, then next year I will get another grape and hopefully be able to get some grapes. We'll see. Then I've got over here the Stars of Jasmine is doing beautiful. The smell is amazing, even for a small plant. We're gonna see how that does. This is wild violet petunia. This is another native wild flower here in Texas. I am leaving it. I have another Black-Eyed Susan over here. I came through with a weed eater and weed eated at least a path. Then the battery died and then it started raining, so I had to stop. So I will get a lot of wildflowers growing through here. I mean, coreopsis there. I got a coreopsis here. I think that is the Jewels of Opar, which is this beautiful pink flower. I've got it in the front. It's a wildflower here in Texas. It's a native. It's actually, if that's what it is, I'll be able to tell once it sends up flower spikes. If it is, the leaves are actually edible. Like, it is a drought tolerant, heat tolerant type of lettuce that you can eat. I did plant, this is a persimmon. So my persimmon got planted. This is another wild, it's a wild violet petunia. It's this beautiful purple petunia, but they're a wildflower. So I'm excited to have those. Eventually I'm going to dig up anything that will be in my pathway, move it into the garden. I'm not going to do it right now, because if you can see the sky, it's kind of scurry. I'm trying to beat the rain on doing this. The honeysuckle has gotten wider, not taller. So I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to do. To the point where my dahlias that I planted over here are starting to get kind of covered up a little bit. So we'll see how that goes with the dahlias. I do have wild rabbits that can get through the fence that do come over here and eat things. So we'll see what happens. A bunch of weeds, a ridiculously large tomato plant that is taking over. I planted 2 tomato plants, and it's crazy how big this thing has gotten in just a matter of a couple of weeks. This is my double bloom hibiscus, and I am just in love with the blooms. Such a soft orangey pink. I am going to find every way possible to keep this thing to survive through the winter and come back up next year. They can grow super fast. And I kind of find it comical because I thought everything had died out here. But this is a corn plant that I planted last year that I thought was dead because they're not supposed to be able to survive temperatures. It's a tropical plant. It survived the temperatures, and it's coming back up from last year. So I'm kind of curious to see how it does with it being shaded by my hibiscus. My ridiculously large tomato plant that probably needs to be staked, that's not staked, I mean, look at this thing. It's huge. It's going to take over the garden. I already know it, but I'm fine with that. I planted it out here just to take up space. To see if I get some tomatoes, and look what I got there. I've got tomatoes. If I remember right, this is a pink boar. It's indeterminate, so this thing will get monstrous. So I do need to bring some stakes out here, but this big massive mound is what happens when you don't stake and prune a tomato plant. I planted 2 here. They were puny and pathetic looking. I didn't think they were going to survive. They're doing great. And then back there, you remember how sad that catnip looked? That catnip bounced back and said, yeah, I'll hold my beer, because it is doing fantastic. And then I know I'm all over the place, guys. I apologize. I just don't want it to be out here and not be able to do the whole tour before it rains. That's some Gomphrena that is planted in front. That is going to look so pretty. But everything I've planted so far is doing good out here. I'm really impressed with the catnip. Not only did it come back, but it is actually sending out shoots to root. And I'm fine with it being out here. It's actually got a lot of medicinal purposes, not only to get cats high, but it has some wonderful effects for people too. And the flowers are really pretty, and they really draw the pollinators. So I'm happy for that to be out here. This is I didn't show this when I first walked in. Is that not pretty? I'm not going to remember the name without looking at the tag. It is an agapanthus. I'm horrible with crazy big names, but this is the first time I've had an agapanthus, and I'm not disappointed in the blooms. They're so pretty. I mean, they're this soft blue, and they're just so pretty. My phone is definitely not doing it justice. And then my Serenity Rose is just looking just magnificent. Let me look at those blooms. soft yellow in the middle, the fuchsia pink on the outside. Very striking. You can see it's kind of that orangey yellow, golden yellow. And then this is one of my, let me zoom out, one of my sages that I planted, or my salvia. I'm seeing that the center is kind of mashed down, so I'm going to say that a rabbit's been in here laying in it. I wouldn't be surprised if a rabbit come popping out, or there'd be a nest in here. I'm sure there will be, because there's no activity in this garden except for when I'm out here, which is, oh, are we excited over there? Oh my, the turkey's always trying to steal the show. But it's looking beautiful. Again, ton of weeds that I need to go through and pull. Another hibiscus, which is getting swallowed up. You don't realize how fast something's going to grow. The sage that I didn't think would get that very big this year. Oh boy, was I wrong. Is that not beautiful? And then down here I've got another hibiscus. I don't know variety type. Just because it was a Walmart purchase, they don't give you variety. That just says hibiscus. But the sage is fantastic. It blends in with the Vitex. I mean, you almost, from a distance, can't tell that the Vitex and the sage are two different plants. A bunch of weeds up front that need to be pulled. Tons of grass are starting to come up. This grass, I need to find out what it's called, but it sends out the roots, and I mean, it's not deep, it's easy to pull. I just need to come out here and find time to spend a day when it's not raining and a total sogs fest out here, and pull weeds in sections. Don't know what's going on with this. This is another one of my sages. It is not looking as good. I'm thinking it's not liking the rain. It's looking beaten, and it is not holding up. So I don't know if it's just too wet here, or if it just is extremely unhappy. This is the only one that's not doing well. I'm going to bring out some fertilizer to see if it can perk it up. The blue bonnets are doing good in the front. It's their first year. So I don't know what's going on with this. So I will watch it. I'm going to give it some fertilizer and see if that helps perk it up, and see once it dries if it helps. But look at that Vitex. And then the sunflower over here. I mean, look at it. Beautiful. I've got leaf hoppers on it. I need to let a couple chickens in here to let them go to town on the bugs. More leaf hoppers. But the sunflower is so pretty. So, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Two Japanese, well, they're not, they're like a ladybug, but they're an Asian ladybug. Are breeding. It's fantastic, but they eat aphids. Even though they do pinch people, they do eat aphids, so they can stay. I just got to make sure I keep them off of me. And that's the millet that's coming up, which is just random through here, which is fine. I don't care. Like I said, this year I don't care what comes up. It's not a formal garden. But the Vitex, oh like cow, the Vitex. And then I got some zinnias that are coming up. I threw a handful of seeds out here, and I didn't think they were going to come up, but they're coming up. So there'll be some zinnias here. I've got a flat of zinnias. I need to get this weeded, and I've got a flat of zinnias, coreopsis, and what else do I have? Cosmos that I want to come out and put in this area here, through the walkway through here. This is not technically a walkway. I'm just walking through because it's easier so I can show you everything. I have more dahlias planted over here, and they're coming up good. My My passion fruit vine is doing well. It's actually sending up second runners now on this one. I don't know if you can see it. The green background kind of makes it difficult. My squash plants are doing well. This has looked fantastic, but I think right now it is just way too wet and soggy that it's starting to kind of fall apart. And I know it has to do because it's really wet over here. But we've had like a week and a half of rain, and it seems to be every day. The crepe myrtle seems to be doing okay though. And then this is another one of those Riot Red honeysuckles. It's doing well. Squash is doing good. I actually need to pick one of my zucchinis before it gets too big. We're gonna have it for dinner tonight. Yep, I got some summer squash over here that I need to pick too. We're gonna have some summer squash and we do some type of Asian dish. I've got some peas still left. The flame bush is, or the firefly bush is doing good. What else is over here? Weeds. This is another one of those wild petunias. Well, not quite sure what happened. This was looking good, but it looks like the net got tangled up. And well, that's all wilted over there, but the leaves over here look okay. I don't know. The stem got broken. Oh yeah, the stem got damaged right there. So, well, damn. All right. Well, this one's doing okay. Bad choice to plant that there. Those are loofah. You telling me? My two female geese are no longer aren't being broody anymore. So Lee's being extra snotty. Everything over here is looking okay. This isn't looking stressed from the rain. It's actually putting out more branches. And the branches that didn't have leaves are starting to open up some leaves. So I'm excited to see this. This is an apricot. We technically do not have enough frost hours for it to produce fruit. My neighbor gave it to me and told me if I wanted to sell it or give it away that I could. But he didn't need it. I thought it was a pretty shaped tree. At the time, it didn't have leaves on it. And I thought, you know, okay, I don't have a whole lot of time to record. I had to shut off and delete some files because my memory card's about empty on here. But as I was saying, you know, the two female geese are not broody anymore. My poor loofah have been wrecked by the wind against the pole. I made a mistake by putting them up there. I thought they'd be okay, but I was wrong. This is a apricot that my neighbor gave me. We don't get enough chill hours for it to really produce fruit. I did have one flower on it that started producing fruit. I did pull it off. I want it to concentrate on roots this year. 10 to 1 says that I probably won't get any fruit off of this ever, but because the sun comes up from over there and then goes over the sky, I figured it would provide shade for my boys. Because this pin doesn't have a whole lot of shade. I'm going to do something with some bushes and fencing. I just haven't decided on what. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm growing from seed. So I think I'm going to do something with planting some bushy tree type things. Maybe I'll start some more Vitex because they grow super fast and they're beautiful. So over here, I do have an apple that still needs to be planted. As you can see, it is still flooded and we're going to be getting rain anytime now. So I haven't really planted a lot of my trees because of the amount of rain. I don't want to flood them. All of the trees that are planted, this one and the other two that I planted over there, are planted above an animal that passed away. This was Little Bit. One of my bantam chickens was buried here, and I planted the tree above it. Little Bit was attacked by a dog, and she was one of my favorite hens. So she is buried underneath the apricot tree. More of the wild petunia. I'll be leaving that. And then my poor calla lily over there. I mean, it is doing fantastic, but holy cow, is it truly flooded. I feel horrible for that poor thing. I may have to dig it up and move it so it's not drowning. Because it really is drowning out here. We usually only get rain like this in the spring, and it's not always, but when we do get rain, I mean, you can see it's just standing water. A lot of this is standing water. Why it's not mowed is the main reason, and why I had to come through with a weed eater. I showed you the squash, and I've got tons of baby squash in there. I mean, just tons of it, so I'm excited about that. The rose is putting on some more growth, so pretty soon I should have more rose buds on there. The purple hyacinth beans are doing good. They're climbing the trellis. I can't wait to have the flowers. They're a really pretty purple flower. I was hoping that maybe my 2 honeysuckles that I had out here, they were orange. They were an orange riot. Would come back, but it doesn't look like they are. I'm not seeing any types of babies, and usually by now I would see something, and I'm not seeing anything, so I think those are gone. So I will leave them there to return to soil, and the passion fruit will come up every year, but over here I'll use this just to plant some pretty annual vines. I've got tons of vine seeds. And then my other rose from the Serenity, or not Serenity, or True Bloom, True Gratitude. And I got new tags. I'm going to be tagging these so I don't have to keep these big labels on them. But this is the True Gratitude. Is starting to throw up some blooms, and this has got that real pretty, like burgundy, more of a burgundy red. That has more of an orangey red. I love roses. My grandma always had roses, but yeah, you can see tons and tons of grass out here. I was hoping that my pumpkins and squash would grow fast enough that it would choke out the weeds, but they haven't really kicked off because we haven't had super hot weather. We've had wet, semi-cool, so we'll see what happens. But I am getting things that are popping up that I've never seen grow out here, so I'm seeing some wild violets. At least that's what it looks like. There's no flower on it yet. That looks like a wild violet. So I'll probably have some more wildflowers come up. I will be coming through here with a weed eater to knock this down, just because we do have a lot of poisonous snakes. I've had coral snakes back here, and I've had, well, a lot of non-poisonous snakes too. Rat snakes because of the chickens and whatnot. So all of this needs to be weed eated. I need to dig up the plants that are here that aren't supposed to. I do want to make this into a garden area over here. And I was planning on doing it with everything I'm growing in seeds. So I may work on clearing some space. I need to get the bricks that I have piled over there to define an actual pathway, which will be the width of this trellis. And it's just going to be a pathway that comes from that entrance underneath, come through, and then down to the pig pen. I'd like to have a bench down there underneath of, a bench underneath of that pine tree. But I really need to build that up because that is an area that does have a lot of standing water. So this year it's just a matter of getting stuff plugged in, annuals and things like that. I'm growing from seed, just so that I have color back here. I may pick a couple of my favorite hens to throw in here for a couple of hours to go through and eat the bad bugs. I haven't done that because I do have seedlings out here that I don't want them to tear up, because chickens are diggers. Maybe I'll throw a couple of guineas in here. The guineas aren't so destructive, but they panic in a new space and run the fence line. So, but isn't that beautiful? My grapevine. Do you see all the baby? These are baby grapes, or the flowers of baby grapes. And I have a ton of them. I mean, it's loaded. So I'm really hoping that these are actual grapes, and and I'll get grapes, because these are a table grape. They're not a wine grape. So, yeah, you see it a little bit better over here. And I've never had fruit, so I'm hoping that's what this is, and it's just loaded with grapes. Oh, I'd be so excited. So excited. But is that not gorgeous? Oh, I love it. I love it. And it doesn't have prickers, so that's always fantastic when you have things. Hello, Roo. Are you waiting to attack me when I come out? He says, of course, Mom, because that's what I do. So this is my flower garden. Total hot mess. But that's okay. We're just starting this year. I'm going to be working on it. And I bet by the end of summer, this thing is going to be magnificent with flowers and butterflies. Because the little bit of flowers I have in my vegetable garden, I'm seeing a ton of butterflies already, and caterpillars. I need to get that milkweed out here and get that planted to get to attract the monarchs, and I want to get some other host plants out here, some natural host plants. I know citrus is one for I think the giant swallowtail, so I want to get some citrus out here. I've got mostly stone fruit and apples that are out here. I'll have figs. I'm going to plant a fig out here. I have multiple apple trees and a lot of apricots, nectarines. I do have the persimmon. That is a type of citrus, I think, if I remember right. Persimmon is a citrus. So anyway, I'm going to hop off of here. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy my videos of my totally imperfect garden. And just know that, you know, this is all stuff that was planted by seed, with the exception of some of the bushes and the fruit trees, and the roses. Other than that, all of this stuff is stuff that I started from seed and I put out here. And this is stuff that's reseeded itself. This garden is going to be magnificent. It's going to draw pollinators and butterflies. And I've already got hummingbirds coming over. And, you know, granted, it's ghetto. It is a ghetto garden right at the moment, but I don't care. It brings me joy. I get a smile when I come out to feed the birds, because they're barren wasteland. It gives me ideas of what I want to do with this over here with them, and how eventually I want this to have pins with walkways that have grass and flowers, and just spaces of like little Eden hidden spaces for the animals. And it's just, I've got such visions. I've got plans. And unfortunately, when you don't have a mass amount of income to dedicate to doing these things, you have to do it in small little pieces and just slowly build up and just keep adding, and, you know, find the cheapest way of doing it, buying perennial seeds instead of buying already, you know, grown perennials. And a pack of seeds, $2, where God, I was seeing 4-packs at Walmart. 4-packs at Walmart of little starter plants like petunias for freaking $5.46. I mean, who could afford to buy a flat? A flat would, run you $30, $40 for just petunias, an annual, something that's going to die in the fall. And you can buy seeds for $2 a pack and end up with 3, sometimes 4 or 5 flats of flowers. If you separate your seeds out, I mean, I don't care. You can do this. Anybody can do this. Even if you just have a spot for a couple of flower pots, you can buy the seeds and start them and have it only cost you, $5, $6, $7 to start a flower pot of flowers from seed, and know that you started those seeds, you grew those seeds, you made those plants, you took care of those plants. I mean, you can do it. Don't let income get in your way. You just you don't have to follow the rules of what people say on the internet to do. You don't have to follow the rules of what these magnificent people with these magnificent gardens tell you. Yes, you could do it their way, and yes, their way will provide you and make you a fantastic garden that will be beautiful. But at the same time, it's not feasible when you don't have that income to do it. Find another way. Don't give up just because you don't have the money. I mean, shoot, I don't have the money. You don't see me giving up. I chug through headlong. I make the world's most ghetto garden in the world. I don't care. It's beautiful. I love it. I don't care it's not perfect. So anyway, I'm gonna hop off of here. I'll hop off my soapbox and stop rambling. You all have a blessed day. Please like and subscribe, share, help me build my channel. Eventually I'll get better with videos, maybe. Or I could just walk through and ramble at you guys about nonsense. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Yeah. You gonna say bye-bye? Goosa Goosa? You wanna say bye-bye? Yeah? I love you, Goosa Goosa. I love you, Goosa Goosa.